Welcome to our web development program here at Empower.py. We're really excited to have you here. 1 second. Okay. Janelle, I'll answer you in 1 second. Okay, so meet the team. We have here myself. I am Sarai Mante. I'm Executive Director and Instructor and a Material Coordinator here at Empower.py. We have Janelle Lattimore. She is Director of Web Development. We have Kay, who's not here today, but he will possibly come to introduce himself throughout sometime this week. He is the Director of Media. And we have Ifra. She is part of the Web Development team, and she's also a Material Coordinator. Okay. So again, I'm Sarai. I have my contact information here. I'm going to share these slides with you. So by all means, don't feel like you need to take notes or anything. I'll share the slides with you in 1 second. But I have my contact information there. So in case you have any questions after the program, you can contact me. We also have Janelle. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Hey everybody, I'm Janelle. I'm Director of Web Development. So you can find me on Empower.py. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. Oh, I don't have my email, but it's Janelle at Empower.py.com. Thank you.
All right, so I'm going to share the link to the presentation right now. Okay, here are the slides. Okay, it's in the chat now, so if you guys want to go ahead and open that and run through it while we do it. All right, so let's do some icebreakers to get to know each other. So C, Candy has actually been here. Can I call you Candy, C? Because I see that's your name right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can call me Candy.
Okay, so Candy has been here, was here for our data science program, our WAVE program, a few weeks ago. So we already know her, so let's just do an icebreaker to kind of get to know all of each other. And so it's just 3 basic things. Tell us a little bit about yourself, so basic information, your name, grade level, and where you're from, if you're comfortable with that. 1 fun fact about yourself, or you can tell us your favorite movie or book. So we're going to go ahead and around the room. I'm going to start. So I'm Sarai, and I am a senior in high school, and I'm from New Jersey. 1 fun fact about myself is, wow, I didn't actually think of this. I really love penguins. They're my favorite animal. And my favorite book, it's either It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover or 84 Charing Crossroad by Helene Hanff. Okay, Janelle, why don't you go now?
Okay, hey, my name is Janelle. I am a freshman in college, and I am from Tennessee. Fun fact about myself, I play 2 instruments. I play guitar and piano. And my favorite movie would probably have to be Divergent. I don't know. I think so. But yeah, that's about me. Candida, you can go.
Okay. My name's Candida. I'm a junior in high school, and I'm from New York. One fun fact about me is I really like plants, and my favorite book is probably The Metamorphoses by Franz Kafka.
Cool.
Okay, Skylar, you can go ahead.
Hey guys, I'm Skylar. I am an incoming freshman in college, and I'm from New York. I guess 1 fun fact about me is I used to play the flute. I really miss playing it. I should probably get into it again, but in terms of my favorite movie or book, I don't necessarily have one, but I have a show that I'm really obsessed with. It's really basic, but it's Friends. I've been watching it all the time.
Nice. I actually have to get on watching with Friends. It's the one show everybody talks about, and I haven't even watched it yet. Don't hate me.
Oh my god, it's so good. You're gonna get hooked to it, once you I would say start with the second season. The first
Okay.
season is like not the best, but you'll see
Okay.
on HBO Max.
All right. Oh, we'll get to that. And see, what did you say your favorite book was again?
The Metamorphosis by Franz Kafka.
What's it about?
It's about this man who turns into a cockroach, and he tries
I
to
think I
like
actually
get
heard
to
of it.
work.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I've heard of it.
Is it really good?
Yeah, it's good.
Cool.
I'm gonna check it out.
Put it on my TBR. Okay. All right. So that was fun. So before we actually get started with the program, I'm gonna give you a little bit of introductory information. So about the structure of the program. So here's a little timeline. Now it's not gonna be exactly per se. This is just what's that outline. But sometimes we run out of time, so we're gonna have to like run off the material to the next day. But this is pretty much what we're gonna do. So days 1 through 3 are going to be tutorial days. So in these days, we're just going to do basic tutorials, going to teach you the basics of HTML, so that's today, tomorrow CSS, and then Wednesday is JavaScript. Now the JavaScript, we're not going to do much of because it's you're going to have to know a lot about it to learn how to apply it to web development. So we're not going to do much of JavaScript, but really the main focus here is HTML and CSS because we're working on front-end web development here, and I'm going to actually explain to you what that is in a bit. So day 4 and 5 are going to be Thursday and Friday, I believe, and we're just going to be applying the skills we learned from days 1 through 3 in a personal website. So this is basically the project you're going to do for week 2, but I want you guys to be able to do it on your own and to have the easiest time with it. So we're going to do the same thing on day 4 and 5 together, but we're going to do it like a personal website but for someone else, like a random person of your choosing, like I don't know, a public figure or something. But then project in week 2 you're going to do a personal website but of yourself, and then you have day 10, which is presentation day. It is completely optional. If you don't feel comfortable presenting, that's fine, but we would require your attendance, so if someone else wants to present, you can still be here to see that. All right, so that's a little timeline here. Again, things might run off, but that's just what we're the plan. Okay, so why learn web development? So let's start from the beginning. So what do web developers do? Web developers create, modify, and manage websites. They are also responsible for programming the website and working with its user interface. A web developer needs to continue adding new content and regularly update a website to make it look nice or stylish for its users. So what are some popular web development languages? Well, most predominantly we have HTML and CSS, and we have JavaScript for functionality, Python for like data or functionality as well, and then we also have PHP, which is also used for data and backend. And we're going to be working more on front end, so that's basically HTML and CSS and JavaScript. Okay, so the average salary for a web developer is $75,430. Now, this is in corporate, so if you are in freelance, that might change, and it might change for the better, actually. Give me 1 second. So, number of web developers are currently 23 million, and there is an 8% career growth for web developers and digital designers. So now, when you're a web developer, you're either going to be a front-end web developer, back-end web developer, or full-stack web developer. So full stack means you're both. But front-end web developers predominantly focus on the visual elements of a website that a user will directly interact with. So this is also known as the client side. Some of the common languages that front-end web developers will be familiar with include HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So basically anything that you see on the browser is front end. Okay, back-end web developers predominantly focus on the side of a website that users do not directly interact with. This is also known as the server side. Some of the common languages that back-end developers will be familiar with include PHP, Python, Ruby, Java, and so on. Now, back-end is basically organizing data that's collected from the website, or security and all of that stuff. So for this program, we're going to be focusing on the front end side, or the client side of web development, and that's pretty much going to be what you see on the browser. Okay, So this is some introductory information. Janelle, why don't you go ahead and take over?
Okay, so what is HTML? HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. HTML is how websites are built. However, HTML is not all websites are made of. HTML is like the skeleton of websites, and incredibly crucial to its performance, but not all what the website is. So it's just basically, the tags and that. What is CSS? Another language that websites are built with is CSS. CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheets. CSS is what makes a website pretty, but can also assist in making the user interface usable. What is JavaScript? JavaScript is a text-based programming language used both on the client side and server side that allows you to make web pages interactive. Where HTML and CSS are languages that give structure and style to web pages, JavaScript gives web pages interactive elements that engage a user. So here's an example of JavaScript in code. So what is user interface? The user interface is the part of websites that you and me, the users, interact with by clicking on links and buttons, dragging images, and typing text into fields. There is another part of websites that you may not have interacted with before, called the back end. Another word for a user interface is front end. We'll talk about back end later this week. So how do you write code? You write code in a text editor, which is also sometimes called a compiler. The text editor is a place that you write code, but after are finished, it translates the code you write into binary code, which is a bunch of zeros and ones that a computer is able to read. After the computer is able to read the code you write, the program that you made will be visible for you to interact with. Right. So, Sarah, you can take over now. Can anyone hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I think something happened to Sarai. So the browser we're going to be using is Google Chrome. And we're going to have our screen size zoomed out to 100 and our font size in repl.it normal. I don't know what happened to Sarai. Okay.
My microphone was unplugged. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So yeah,
go ahead.
Thank you, Janelle. So yeah, those are my settings for Repl.it. So this is how your Repl.it's supposed to look like when you open it. You're going to have a bunch of pre-written code that we're going to go ahead and explain in a second, but that's how it's supposed to look like. So do you guys have it open? Let me know when you do.
Yeah, I have it open.
Okay, see. Let me know when you have it open.
I have it.
Perfect. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen for the Repl.it.
Does everybody have the same screen she has? Did everybody get that and fork their own templates?
Yeah, I have it.
Okay. All right, let's get started. So, I don't have it again. Okay, let me fix my settings here. Reset to normal. Okay, so you might see all this pre-written code. We'll get to that in a second, but before we do that, I just want to go ahead and jump straight to headings to show you the basic structure of an HTML tag or element. So by the way, tag and element are interchangeable. They mean the same thing. Mostly when we're talking about HTML elements, they're made up of tags. They're made up of a start tag and an end tag, but I usually just reference, an element and a tag to be the same thing, okay? But let's see, we're gonna go ahead and start with headings. I'm gonna show you okay. So you start with 2 angle brackets, and then inside you're gonna put the actual name of the element. So that's H1. And this is also known as the start tag. Now there's also going to be an end tag, and the only difference is that there's just a / before the name of the element, so H1. So if you run this, you're actually going to get nothing because you didn't specify what you want to have you didn't specify what content you want the browser to put out or to output within the tags. And where you do that is, again, within the tags. So you're going to do heading 1 between the start tag and the end tag. So whatever content you want the browser to put out or to output is going to be within the start tag and the end tag. That's important. So if you run that, you can clearly see the heading 1 is going to output on your browser. Do we all have that?
Yeah, I've got it.
Is my screen delayed for you guys? Like, does it look delayed?
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, I think it's a little delayed.
Oh, I wasn't sharing the tab. Okay, there we go. Okay. Alright, now that we went over the actual structure, I'm going to go back up here and I'm going to go through each element and tell you what they actually mean. So the first one you have is the doc type HTML element, or the doc type element. So what this element does, it just specifies which version of HTML we're using. Now, the version we are using is HTML5, and the code for HTML5 is simply HTML. So we're just telling the browser, hey, this document is written in the HTML5 version, okay? Now, the HTML tag, you might be wondering, okay, then what does the HTML tag do? Well, if you actually look at it, the HTML tag, this is actually the start tag. If you scroll down all the way to the bottom, you see that it actually ends right here. So basically everything that I'm highlighting right now that's within the HTML element is basically telling the browser, hey, everything that's within these two tags, the two tags, HTML start tag and the HTML end tag, this is HTML. So then what's the difference between HTML and doc type HTML is that doc type only specifies the version of HTML we're using, and HTML element basically says that, hey, whatever's in here tells the browser that it's HTML, okay? Does that make sense? All right. So yeah, so you can think of it as a container, like whatever's inside the tags is HTML. That's what it tells the browser or the person who's reading your code. Now, the next element is called the head element, and you can think of the information inside the head element as page information. Nothing inside the head element is going to be presented on your browser, because again, it's page information for whoever's reading your code or just for the browser itself. Now, we have here an element called meta, and we have an attribute called char set, and then a value to that attribute. Now, I'm actually going to present how these tabs look like right now. So you could be a person, right? So attributes usually are characteristics or features of an object, or in this case, a person. So now, what are the attributes or characteristics of a person? Well, you can name some. You can say a name is an attribute, hair color, skin color, blood type. Now, for tag attributes in the HTML perspective, they're characteristics or features of an HTML tag or element. Okay, so what are the attributes or characteristics of the A tag? Well, the A tag is what you use for links in HTML. So one of the attributes are called href, which stands for hypertext reference. So basically, whatever you want your content to go to, when you click on it, that's the link you're going to put in href. So it's basically where you're going to put the link. So let's say you want to go to Google, you're going to put href and set it equal to the link to Google. So www.google.com. And I'm going to show you what that means in a second. Let me just go back and share the repl. Okay, so back to this. So this is an element called meta, and we have an attribute or a characteristic of this element called character set. Stands for character set. So what this does is we set it equal to a value, UTF-8, and what this does is it translates your English code into zeros and ones for the computer to read. So that's what that does. And notice also that this meta tag only has a start tag. It doesn't have an end tag like most other elements, okay, like this, because there's actually nothing in between. There's like no content here. We don't have to write anything there, because remember, whatever content we want to appear on the browser, we have to do it in between the start tag and the end tag. But since there's nothing there, this is called a self-closing tag. It's also known as a void tag or an empty tag, because it self-closes. There's nothing in the content section, and it also self-closes, so you don't really need to close it. So that's what meta is. Similarly, this is also a self-closing tag, the doc type one. Now, the next one we have is, again, it's the same element with different attributes. So we have a name attribute and a content attribute. So the name here, we set it equal, so this is a characteristic, right? The name is a characteristic of a meta, and we have the value set to viewport. So viewport is basically the browser, what you're seeing here. And we also have another attribute called content, and content is equal to width equals device width. So what this does is, if you go ahead and open in a new tab your code, you can see that the browser is mostly the width of your computer, right? So what this tells the browser to do is, hey, if I open this website in my phone, then make sure the width of the website is equal to the width of the device, right? Which is my phone. So that's what that does. Then we have another element called title. And title is, if you take a look at the tab up here, the name says my website. So title basically is the name of the tab, or you could actually change it to, let's say, my website 01, so you could actually see the difference. If you run that and then reload, it says my website 01, because I changed it right here, my website 01. But let's go and put it back to just my website. And finally, we have the last element here, the link tag. So the href, again, it's not, the link and A tags are actually different. The A tags we use for the actual HTML inside the body tag, which we'll get to in a second. But href stands for hypertext reference, and it's the reference to what you want your content to go to. But in this case, we use this link element to reference to the style sheet of CSS that we are going to be using tomorrow for this HTML file. And so we also have an attribute called rel, which stands for relationship. It states the relationship between this HTML file and the file we reference to, which is a style sheet. And then finally, we have the type attribute, and it's just we set it equal to text/CSS. And that's all the information in the head section. Now, if you did not get some of this, it's completely fine. Like, you really do not need to know any of this to actually do anything in the browser. What really is important is what we put in the body, but this you'll learn in a second, and we'll also review it at the end if you have any questions. Okay, now if we go to the body tag, whatever's inside the body, you can actually scroll down and see that it ends here, is what's going to show in your browser. Okay, Now, you might see this script source thing. We can delete it because this is for JavaScript. It's kind of the same thing as this here. It kind of links to the JavaScript file. If you go to files, you see that you have your style.css, that's what we're referencing to. And then you also have your JavaScript, your script.js, that's what we're also referencing to here. But we're not doing JavaScript today, so we can go ahead and delete that. Okay. So now let's actually go back to the headings and continue the headings. So there are 6 different types of headings, and I already showed you one. So what you're going to do is you're just going to go ahead and copy and paste it 5 times. And when you do that, you're going to change the tags. So you're going to change the tags to heading 2, heading 3, heading 4, heading 5, and heading 6. And make sure you do it on both the start tag and the end tag. Okay, and when you run it, you can clearly see the differences between the headings. All right, so that's headings. We're going simple here. I'll show you more about it when we actually attack CSS, but right now we're just going through the basics of HTML so we can, because to be honest, when we write a website, the HTML is just sometimes really small. What's really the nitty-gritty of everything is the CSS, because that's a lot. So don't worry about complexity in HTML. So do we have this here, the headings? Are we good, guys?
Does everybody have the headings written out just like this? Okay. Good.
Okay. So Janelle, why don't you go ahead and take over for the paragraphs?
All right. Let me share my screen. All right, so can everybody see my screen and hear me correctly?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, good. All right, so now we're going to learn about paragraphs. So inside the paragraphs are usually blocks of text that allow web developers to share content with the website users. So to start our paragraph, we're going to do a p tag, and the p tag is paragraph. We're going to do an opening p tag, and then we're going to do a closing p tag. Very important to always do that. So here it is, our opening p tag and our closing p tag. So to make our paragraph, we're just going to put this thing called lorem. L-R-E-M. So with lorem, you can write any number. So I want to put lorem, let's say 5. And then press enter, and you have lorem 5 words. And then we're going to run it. And here we have it, lorem. Okay, so now we are going to learn about our style tags. So what are style tags? Style tags are used by web developers to bring the user's attention to a specific content. So our first style tag that we'll be using is we're going to be making... Oh, this is not supposed to be...
Never mind.
Hello?
Nothing. I was just going to actually tell you about the angle bracket, but you deleted it already.
Yeah, I deleted it. I didn't mean to let it put there. Okay. So first we're gonna make our paragraph bold. So before we do that, we have to put our p tag for our paragraph and our closing p tag. Oops. /p. Okay, and then we're gonna put lorem, and I want to do 12. All right. So wherever I want to bold, put the bold, I'm gonna put here. So our bold tag is just a B. So B tag, and then a closing B tag. Everybody see what I'm doing?
Yep.
And getting it? Oops, I made a mistake. So we put where you want the bold right here. I want to start the bold and then I want to end the bold right here. I forgot to specify. So I want to end the bold right here.
So yeah, again, whatever
So
content
right.
you want to appear on the browser bolded, you want to put it within the start tag and end tag.
Yeah. So then we're gonna run it, and here is where I want it to bold, and it bolded. So did everybody get that?
Yep, got it.
Okay, good. So now we are going to italicize our paragraph. So again, you want the opening P tag and the closing P tag right here. Put lorem. And then I want 6. Enter and put 6. So I want to italicize here to here. So I'm going to put my I tag, my opening I tag. Just simple. And then my closing I tag. And then you're going to run it. And here you go. This is italicized. Did everybody get that?
Yeah, got it.
Okay, good. All right. So next we are going to be working on hyperlinks. What are hyperlinks? Hyperlinks are used to allow users to click their way from one page to another. So that's what we're going to do. All right. So right in here, we're going to start our hyperlink. So we're going to do our opening P tag as always. And our closing P tag. We're going to put lorem. And then I just want this short, so I'm going to put like 5. So there you go, 5 words. So now we're going to use our attribute, which is the, we're going to open it, have open tag href tag. So make sure it's crucial to put the bracket before it, to open it, always. And then equal sign. And now we're going to put our link. So our link is going to be just google.com. I'm going to put that link in the chat so you guys can do it. Here's the link that we're going to be using, google.com. So now we're going to just paste that into here. And to make this work, you want to put a closing bracket. Okay, so let's run it. Oh, we have to do our closing A tag. Almost forgot. You have to close that A tag for this to work.
Also, remember you actually have to put the content in between the start tag and end tag.
Oh, oops, I forgot.
You can just right click here if that makes it easier.
Okay, give me a second, guys.
Just kidding.
Okay, sorry, can you take over for a little bit?
Yeah, no problem. Okay, let me share my tab. Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah.
All right. All right, where were we? Were we on the first one here? Or the second one?
We're on the first one, but I got it fixed.
Okay, do you want to continue sharing or do you want me to just take over?
Yeah, I'll
Okay.
continue sharing. I'll do it. Okay, wait. Wrong screen. Give me a minute, guys. Okay, for some reason it's like not working.
It's not letting you present? Hello?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Okay, I'll just take over then. It's fine. Oh, it's not letting me present either. How nice is that? Great.
Sorry guys, we're having technical difficulties.
Weird. Okay. Alright, so I'll just go back to where we were here. Okay, so inserting a link within the text that will open on the same page. So for this one, we're going to go ahead and do a p tag, start tag and closing tag. And then within this p tag, we are going to go ahead and just do like a paragraph, so like 10 words, right? So Lorem generates random words, okay? And we need to insert a link within the text. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, I'm going to like use this selection of words. So when I see these selections of words, let me actually run it. If we take a look down here, you can see the sit and met, right? So what I want to be able to do is I want to be able to, when clicking on this, it's going to take me to Google, okay? And it will open on the same page, okay? So the way we're gonna do this is we're gonna do an a tag, right? And we're gonna go and close it after the content, right? So make sure that the content you want the element to apply to is within the start tag and the end tag, okay? That's very important. That's why I keep repeating it. So Now what you want to do is you want to, within the start tag, if you haven't noticed by now, all our attributes are within the start tag. So you want to go to the start tag, click space, and then specify an attribute, and then set it equal to the value you want it to set for it to be. So in this case, I want it to be Google. So I'm going to go ahead and, Janelle, can you actually put the link in the chat for Google so they can just copy and paste it? I think they have it already.
I did. I put it in
Thank
there.
you. Okay. And when you do that, now you run it and then you see the link. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open in a new tab because for some reason repl.it doesn't support like links. So you're going to have to open it in a new tab. And now when you click on the link, it's going to take you to Google on the same page, right? It's not going to open a new tab and take you to Google. It's going to take you to Google on the same page. Okay. Now, I'm going to stop presenting.
Let me try to present again.
Okay, so now on default, it will open on the same page. Now I'm going to show you how to do the same thing, except that the only difference is that you want it to open on a new tab. So copy and paste what you just wrote and then paste it in here. And now the only difference is you're going to have to do this new attribute called target. And you're going to set target equal to underscore dot blank. So what target does, it's the attribute that tells the browser where this link is going to open in. And so on default, it's going to open on the same page, right? But if you wanted to open it on a blank page, on a new tab, then you want to set it equal to underscore blank. So when we run that, make sure you open in a new tab. And once you do that and you click on it now, the second one, it's actually going to make a new, let me actually share my window so you can actually see. 1 second. Okay, so if you open this up here, you click on a new window, you click on this, as you can see, it's going to open in a new tab. Now, if you click on the first one, it opens in the same tab. So that is the difference, okay? What the target can do for you. All right, so now we're going to move on to inserting. Let me present again.
I can try and take over and see what happens.
Okay, try one more time and see if it works.
Okay. Can everyone hear and see me?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, I was having some internet issues before. Sorry about that. So we have our opening. So now we're gonna insert a file link within the text. So as always, opening B tab, we're going to be putting, let's say 12. Enter. Now we're going to put our F tag within it. So right in the middle of right here, I'm just going to put it right in the middle right here. Open A tag. And then equal. Oops. And then we're going to do about.html. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So let me delete the one I have right now. Okay, so you're going to go right here and add a file, put about, .html, and there you have it. So now we're going to go back here, back to our index.html, and we are going to put about.html right there. Okay, and then we're going to use our target blank, just like we just learned. And we're going to, target equal blank, sorry. We're going to close that. There you go. And make sure to put these here. Now we're going to click this link to read more about me. So this is when we click on the HTML. Can you hear me?
I'm just going to say you put the quotation mark in the beginning of target instead of the beginning of like the underscore.
Oh, yeah. My mistake? Okay. So in that, we're going to put, after that, we're going to put click to learn more about me. And then we're going to close that off with the A tag. Okay. So now we are going to run it. Okay, let's go in our tab. I'm going to share my screen. So now when I just put it right here in my website, I click it, and it just leads to the other page, which is about HTML.
Janelle?
Hello?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Did you hear
Yeah, I
me?
can hear you. I was just gonna say you need to fix the quotation mark, like delete it, because and also like you would need to share your window so they can actually see where the link goes to. Because they only see like a white
Oh, it's not
screen.
showing. I thought it's showing. Okay, let me share my window. And let me delete those quotation marks.
No, you're supposed to leave the quotation marks in the blank. The value, every value is supposed to be within quotation marks.
So delete this.
Delete the quotation mark before target. That's the attribute. Target is the attribute. Blank is the value.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
Put the quotation. You forgot the quotation mark before blank. Right there, like okay, before the underscore. Right here. Yeah. Because whatever. Okay, so now delete the one before B. Right there. There we go.
Okay. Now let's run it. There you go. All right. And that was it for my teaching. Sarah, you can take over.
Okay, so we are here at 10:55, so I don't think I'm going to be able to. I'm actually going to do Bliss, and then we're going to finish HTML tomorrow. Okay, let me share my screen. Okay. All right. So the next thing we're going to do, and the final thing for today, are lists. So there are different types of lists. There's an unordered list and an ordered list. Now, the difference between both of those is that an unordered list is not ordered, so it's in like bullet points or like some other symbol, and an ordered list is numerically ordered. Okay, so the way we do this is we do a UL, so it stands for unordered list, so that's a starting tag, and then we're going to do end tag UL. Okay? And then we're going to click enter, and then within, you want to click tab, so like everything is aligned. Now within these lists, there's something called list items, which is represented by LI, so list items, and then these are basically your list items. So you want to do item 1, so anything that you want to show up on the browser, any content, you want to do between the start tag and the end tag. And let's say you want, let's actually run it so you see what's going on. So now you see that there's an item 1. So let's do actually another one. Let's do a few more. So item 2, item 3, run that. You can see that now it's an unordered list, and it's the little symbols are bullet points because it's unordered. Now, ordered lists are similar. They start with an OL, so it's ordered list. So that's a start tag, and then you have your end tag OL. You want to click enter, and then inside you want to do another, tag called list item. So do item 1, same thing here. I'm actually going to do myself a favor and just copy and paste this. You could do the same thing to save time. And when you run it, now you can see the difference. The difference is just that it's numerical, it's ordered. Okay, so that's it for list. So it's pretty simple. Everything else that we can do for lists, like change the bullet points, we can do with CSS. We're gonna go ahead and do that tomorrow. So tomorrow we're gonna finish tables, forms, which are my favorite, and then we have buttons, which is a super short thing, and then images, and then block quotes, and then we'll start our CSS tomorrow. Okay, guys? So let me go ahead.
Do you guys have any questions before we go? Because we have a few minutes until it's done.
Okay.
No questions? Everybody understand everything that we taught today?
I can definitely stay and review anything.
Yeah, that's pretty good to me. Thank you so much, guys.
No problem. Thank you for coming.
All right, see you all tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
You're welcome.